Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. On this channel we give tips and tricks on how to navigate tax in South Africa. We also simplify tax for individuals and small businesses. So if that is your thing or you're interested in that, then please subscribe and do check out the rest of my content. It really, well, people have said that it's helped them, so I'm hoping that it can help you too. But also, just a disclaimer, this is not tax advice, guys. This is just simply tips and tricks. Please don't take anything I say as tax advice. If you want advice, then you need to consult a professional and also deal with your problem or with your query personally with that person. But please don't take this as tax advice. Okay. All right, today I'm going to be talking about the tax administration of trusts. And the reason I'm doing this is because trusts are often used as a tax planning tool, right? So we're just going to check and see what admin is involved in actually administering a trust. I'm not going to delve into the expenses that are involved in administering a trust. I really believe that such actually depends on the assets that the trust have, what the trust is used for, whether it's a business trust or any other type of trust. So I'm not going to get into that. Really, that depends on a whole lot of things. So I can't even estimate what the administration of the trust or what the trust will cost and so on and so forth, what the fees involved in all of that stuff. But if you are interested in using a trust as a tax planning tool, then I would advise that you consult a professional like a tax advisor or a tax practitioner or a lawyer or a combination of all those people. So administration of trusts, number one. Okay, first of all, I'm using my notes here so that I remember everything I have to say. So if I'm looking down or I'm referring and whatnot, just know that I'm looking at my notes. Okay, first of all, just to mention, trusts are legal entities. If maybe you didn't know or you weren't sure, they're legal entities, which means that they have their own life type of situation, like you and I, except obviously they don't breathe and whatever. But what I'm trying to say is they're legal entities. They have their own name, they have their own tax number, and so on and so forth. Basically, as far as administration, the things that I can for tax, the things that I can do, trusts also can do in most situations. So that is why I was saying that there's also a lot of expenses and fees and whatnot that are involved in administering in the administration of a trust. So because they're legal entities, in most cases trusts will be provisional taxpayers. There are very few situations whereby trusts are not provisional taxpayers. The tax period for a trust as well as for individuals is normally the same, and the submission period as well is normally the same. Previously, you couldn't submit tax returns for trust on e-filing, but you can now submit tax returns for trust on e-filing. Also, previously, you could submit tax returns for trusts by posting your tax return to SARS, but that's no longer allowed now. You can't post your tax returns to SARS. You can either use e-filing or go to the branch. If you are going to go to the branch, then it is very, very important that you do what? You make an appointment. I think for your convenience as well as for SARS's convenience, it's advisable to make an appointment. There are branches that actually don't even help at all without an appointment. I don't know, there were previously branches that you could walk into without an appointment, but I know most branches at the moment, they actually assist according to 2 appointments. Since COVID, SARS has worked very hard to make sure that most of the things can be done on e-filing. And I also, as a professional, do encourage people to actually use e-filing to do their stuff. In that way, one, you're able to keep up. Number 2, it saves you a lot of time and grief. And also, I think when you do your stuff on e-filing, you're able to sort of like save time, because I mean, to go to, even though you are able to make an appointment, it takes time to make an appointment. Sometimes you don't get an appointment that on the day that you're supposed to get it in, and also the time as well to actually go to the branch. It actually it takes a lot of time. And also I think I don't know, maybe you can comment down below and actually say if whether or not actually starting using e-filing to do your taxes has helped you to be more aware of what is going on, of what the process is and whatnot. I understand that in the beginning it might be a bit of a challenge, especially for someone who doesn't have a tax background, but as you use e-filing, I think it actually gives you an idea of what is what and where, like how SARS works, and also how your taxes are deducted and so on and so forth. Also, I think it also gives you an opportunity to actually be able to, when SARS makes a mistake in an assessment, which is something that happens, by the way, many times, you are able to dispute because you know what you submitted, you know what you wrote on your return. So I do encourage people to make use of the e-filing profile. Okay, I've mentioned already, it is important that you actually familiarize yourself with all the costs. So I would encourage someone that when you want to start a trust, just try and get an idea of what the costs are. Obviously, the person who's going to be drafting the trust for you will be able to assist with that. And also, I think it also helps, oh my goodness, my battery's dying. But anyway, I think also it helps to sort of like see if you are at a point getting or understanding the costs that are involved helps to actually it helps you to make a decision of whether or not it is actually a good idea for you to actually get a trust at that point in your life, because really the costs that are involved are quite can be quite a lot. But obviously that's something that you would have to research, and also depending on the type of trust that you want and also the reason for that trust. Okay, also a very important, like I mentioned, trusts also submit their own tax returns and whatnot, and if you are late with your trust, there are penalties that are involved. Normally the trustees are the representative of the trust. They would normally nominate one person who's going, if there's more than one person who is a trustee, then they would nominate a person that's actually going to be a tax representative of the trust. In some situations, they might even nominate a tax practitioner who is not a trustee to become what, the tax representative of the trust. But all of that doesn't happen automatically. That's something that actually has to be done. The nomination of the tax representative, whether it's a trustee or a tax practitioner, that's something that needs to be done, right? Okay. One last thing that I think I've covered everything in my notes, but one last thing that I think is very important, obviously I say this for everything, for all taxpayers, it's the same with trust, guys. Always make sure that the details are updated. Very, very important, so that if SARS tries to communicate something, you get whatever's being communicated on time. And one of the ways that you can do this is to make sure that your details are updated, because if your details are updated, sometimes even if SARS is wrong, if your details aren't updated, then you have no leg to stand on. So make sure that your details are up to date all the time. Now, I mentioned earlier that one of the trustees may be a tax representative for the trust. There are situations whereby even if you did not nominate for whatever reason, SARS might put the trustees the responsibility to submit tax returns, because obviously SARS can't say everyone when they trying to get something, or when they trying to write say for instance they're trying to get their money from the trust. They unfortunately can't make all the trustees responsible. So SARS, there are situations when there's no one that's been nominated, there are situations SARS will nominate their own person, or they will send the communication to a specific person, and they will have their reasons for doing that. So again, this is to emphasize that it's very important to nominate a tax representative if there's more than one trustee. Very, very, very important. And it's also important to make sure that the trust is actually compliant, because if it is not, then SARS is going to come after the trustees, because they're the representatives, or that particular trustee, because they're the representative for they are the tax representative for the trust. So don't say that just because it is its own person and whatnot, SARS might not come for a certain person. No, it happens. It has happened in the past. So make sure that if you have a trust, then all your ducks are in a row and you are doing the administration correctly. And like I said, there are costs involved. There are also costs involved for forming the trust, for maintaining the trust, and also for the submission of all the returns that need to be submitted for the trust. So that's something that is something to think about, something that to look into before you actually decide to form a trust, before you actually decide if this is something that you want to use at whatever stage you are in your life, as a tax planning tool or as an estate planning tool. That's it for now. If you like this this video, if you would like to see more of my content, then do subscribe, maybe hit the notification button, and also don't forget to share with your friends and family. That's it for me. Thank you very much.